Dear students, good morning to all of you. Welcome back to our virtual class. Today we'll start poverty alleviation programs. Last period we are discussing who are the poor and how to remove the poverties. So among all them, that government measures, one is that poverty alleviation programs. This is in shortly it is called that PAPS. This PAPS or poverty alleviation program, mainly I have divided two parts for your better outstanding. One is that self-employment programs, another is that wage employment programs. First, we'll discuss that self-employment programs. First one is that Rural Employment Guarantee RLEGP, Rural Employment Generation Programs, RLEGP. First program, Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program, or some is written that Rural Employment Generation Program, REGP. Rural Employment Guarantees Programs. This program was started by the government to create that self-employment opportunities in the rural areas and small towns. Rural Employment Guarantee Program, which was started by the government to create self-employment in the rural areas and in the small towns. It was implemented specially by that government for that Khadi and that village industries commissions. Under this program, one could get that financial assistance from the bank, or they will get the loans to set up these small industries. It means the rural areas, how they can create their own employment by using their own natural resources and own skills that should be implemented in the process of the production, and the output will be increased by giving them that own self-employments. And similarly, next one is that PMRY, Prime Minister Rojagar Yojana. PMRY, Prime Minister Rojagar Yojana. Under this program, it means this Prime Minister Rojagar Yojana, which was implemented both for rural areas and urban areas. Under this program, the educated unemployment people, those who are from that lower income group families, or those who have that lower income groups in rural areas and urban areas also, the government will provide that financial help to set up that any kinds of industries or enterprise to create that more employment or to generate that employments. It means these people, they will be some extent, they will be trained either 3 months or 6 months. After that, government will give that some finance, then they will create their own employment facilities. That is the objective of that PMRY, Prime Minister Rojagar Yojana. So PMRY attempted to generate employment by setting up 7 lakhs micro enterprises during this plan, during the 8th plan, which was in 92 to 1997. But in 2003 and 2004, 3 million people got employment under this scheme or Prime Minister Rojagar Yojana. So there is that Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and Prime Minister Rojagar Yojana that should be merged with that Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. This is to be merged. Remember it, एक मार्क का क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, ये आता है भी लास्ट ईयर मुझे लग रहा है. So the Indian government merged the Rural Employment Generation Program REGP with that Prime Minister Rojagar Yojana PMRY and introduced the new scheme. This is called that Prime Minister Employment Generation Program or PMEGP with effect from 2008 or 1st April 2008. The objective was like this: to generate that more employment opportunities in rural areas and urban areas through setting up that self-employment schemes or ventures. Besides this, to bring together widely dispersed that traditional artisans and unemployed youth and to give them self-employment opportunities in their place or that in that rural areas where that this type of people they are surviving without work or without any kinds of job. Similarly, next self-employment program is that SJSRY Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rojagar Yojana. SJSRY Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rojagar Yojana. All these schemes, which is that self-employment program, it means how the people will themselves create that or generate their own employments. So this Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rojagar Yojana mainly aims to creating the employment opportunities for both self-employment as well as that wage employments, especially in urban areas. Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rojagar Yojana. This Shahari means here is that urban areas. So this program seeks to provide that grateful employments through encouraging the setting up self-employment ventures or provisions of that wage employments. It is sponsored by central governments, which is funded in that government schemes, that is 75.25 basis between that center and the state. It means that 75% from that central governments and 25 from the state governments. So these were the objectives of Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rojagar Yojana. Next is that SGSY Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojagar Yojana. SGSY. Fourth is that SGSY, स्वर्ण जयंती ग्रामीण स्वरोजगार योजना, स्वर्ण जयंती ग्रामीण स्वरोजगार योजना. This SGSY aims at promoting the micro entrepreneurships or micro enterprise and to bring the assisted poor families how they will create job themselves. Swrojagar. It means they will create their own job themselves, which way they can reduce their poverty by organizing them into that one group, that is that self-help group, SHG, self-help groups, SHGS. It means people who wish to benefit from these schemes are encouraged to form self-help groups or SHG. Initially, they are encouraged to save some money and lend among themselves as a small loans. Later, through banks or by the governments, or the government provide that some partial financial assistance to these kinds of self-help groups. This has now been restructured, that is that NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Missions, NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Missions, NRM. This is to be SGY, that is that Swarna Jayanti Gram Swarojaya Yojana is recently to be that NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Missions. A similar program called also National Urban Livelihood Missions has also been in the place or for this urban areas poor peoples. And second one is that wage employment programs. These wage employment programs, one is that Sampurna Gramin Rojagar Yojana, SGRY. In that number one, Sampurna Gramin Rojagar Yojana, and National Food for Work Program. National Food for Work Program. This program was launched in the year of 2004. It means National Food for Work Program was launched in 2004. That program aims at how to implement in that backward districts or provide the additional resources of the self-help groups. This program was implemented as a 100% sponsored by central governments, but that 75 and 25 which was in that Swarna Jayanti Shahari Rojagar Yojana, that 75% from the central and 25% in the state. But this program, National Food for Work Program, sponsored by central government fully or that 100%. So the program was incorporated in Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, that is called Narega to Mahanarega, MGNREJ, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Programs, which was in 2005. This MGNREGA or Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act aims at enhancing that livelihood securities of people in rural areas by guaranteeing that 100 days, how many days? 100 days of that wage employments in a financial year to the rural households whose adult members voluntarily to do that unskilled manual work, and they will get that wages, that is by that not in case but in direct transfer money to their own accounts. So all these among the poor who are ready to work at this minimum wage can report for work in areas where this program is being implemented. In 2013 and 14, nearly 5 crore households got that employment opportunity under this scheme or Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme or Guarantee Act. So any government is coming, this program cannot be postponed. So these are the different programs, poverty alleviation programs, which was launched by government time to remove the poverties. Thanks to all of you.